All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's a very, very wonderful week because we are now week 10. We are going to be having our assignment that is due this week, and we are going to be having all of our presentation happening next week before we're going to start preparing for the final exam. So it is basically getting to the exciting parts of the subject where we're going to go and make sure you guys are going to be assessed on the majority of the components that are important to be able to get the finalized mark for your subject. I want to thank you very, very kindly for all your hard work today. I just want to encourage you to make sure you continue working. We are almost towards the end, so don't stop now. Continue working hard. And if there's any problem with any groups, make sure we try to go and solve it today to be able to ensure you guys are going to progress with the work you need to go and do. So let's work hard to be able to get the right outcome. I want to remind you that there are two people available in this team. There's myself, who teaches a couple of classes, and there are other team members that are teaching other classes. So please make sure you're going to touch base with the right people if you have any questions. We're very, very happy to go and help you out. All right, guys. So in terms of the copyright, please no copying, no pasting in terms of any of the assignments. This is very, very important that we're not going to go and have any issues to do with copyright, because any issue like that is going to go and cause a problem. It has caused some problems in the first assignment, and we're still trying to go and solve all of those issues, but it's very, very important that you're going to go and make sure you're doing your own work. You paraphrasing all the information. There's no copying and pasting happening at any point of time in anything. So please make sure you are doing the same thing in the group assignment. Maybe it's a good idea to submit your work early to Moodle to see if there's any similarity issues, because there is a very clear policy when it comes to similarity, especially if it comes between similarity and possibly academic misconduct. So it's something we need to go and be managing very well to be able to avoid any misconduct at all in terms of the assignment that I submitted. What have we spoken about last week? We spoke about the strategic management requirements. We spoke, it's not enough to plan what you want to do. It is equally important to ensure you are implementing the work that you said you are going to be working and delivering at any particular point of time. We said we need to go and position and manage all of this IS and IT in an organization. You know, who should be making the decision? Who should be held accountable to ensure the work that needs to go and be done needs to go and kind of be ensuring it's being delivered. We spoke about moving from a functional view of IS and IT to an organizational-wide perspective. It's about everyone, how we're going to build the overall organizational capability and overall competencies, people with the right skills and the right knowledge to be able to ensure we are going to be delivering the IS and IT that we are supposed to go and really be delivering at any point of time. So it's about really looking at the right information to be able to go and get the right outcome. We spoke about having the right resources. We spoke about organizing those resources, having the right processes, and being able to go and have an enterprise sort of level thinking that we're thinking about what does the organization really need to be able to go and ensure we're working on delivering that particular outcome. We spoke about IS and IT governance. What about IS and IT governance? Well, we spoke about what is governance and why is governance important. It's really about ensuring the things we wanted to go and deliver are actually being delivered. It's about really managing the IT function the way it needs to go and really be managed. And we spoke about so many decisions. What do we need to govern? Like, what sort of governance is needed? Well, we need to talk about funding. We need to talk about strategy. We need to talk about IT security. We need to talk about change. All of these are things we need to go and really bear in mind in the work that we're trying to go and really do. We need to create the organizing framework for IS and IT decision making. Who's going to have the authority for the decision? Who's going to basically monitor that something has been happening? What process we're going to follow, and so on. And we spoke about all of these instruments that are relating to governance. And when I talk about instruments, instruments are about ensuring that when I want to go and make a decision and ensuring that decision is being implemented, I want to make sure that I'm going to have some power to influence people to make decisions. or to be able to behave in a way that we can implement my decisions. So for example, I could go and create the right structure. You need to report to the manager, and the manager will observe you, and they will kind of report and confirm that you've done what you're supposed to go and really deliver. So that's really one way of going and looking at things, how they need to go and really be done. We spoke about things such as, the instrument of governance, such as social interaction, speaking to the right people, getting the right engagement, all the way to be able to go and really get the job to go and be completed. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what am I going to be talking about today? I'm going to be talking about creating and sustaining business change in an organization. Let's create the change, but let's also sustain all of that change to make sure that we are getting what we are supposed to be getting on a sustainable outcome for the long term. We talk about the need for strategic management of IS and IT services and IT infrastructure. We talk about all of these IS and IT service categories. We speak about managing operational and value enabling services. We speak about strategies for managing IT infrastructure and infrastructure services. We speak about undertaking and managing IT risks. We speak about sourcing of IT and IS resources and services. We speak about business process outsourcing. We spoke about innovation in outsourcing, when we outsource the work to other people to go and do. What is the role that innovation needs to go and play in that practice? And we speak about back sourcing, which is bringing things back to be operated and worked on in my business. In other words, my own employees are going to do it. And switching suppliers, where I might be basically having a company that is my outsourcing company. I gave them a particular job, and what happens from there, I would like to go and switch that supplier for whatever reason. We're basically going to go and try to get those other providers to be able to go and deliver what I want them to go and really deliver. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you this first question. How can we create and sustain business change in organizations? How do you believe we can create business change in an organization and sustain business change in an organization? What do you think? Come on, guys. I want to basically have your point of view now. So I want you to share with me, how can we create business change and how can we sustain business change? Shekhar. Can you hear me, Shekhar?
Yes, sir. I'm thinking about it. Give me some time.
All right, man. No problem.
Yes.
So the question, guys, is very simple. How can we create and sustain business change in organizations?
Do you mean change as in replacing the employees, or is it different?
Let's talk more about IS and IT change. If we're going to make changes in an organization related to IS and IT, how can we create that change and how can we sustain that change?
To create any change, first we need to plan those changes, like without pre-plan those changes.
Okay, so we need to have a process to be able to go and ensure that we are going to be getting changes to happen. So you need to plan what the work you need to go and be doing to be able to get that change to happen. What do you happen after you plan it?
Mostly we need like a step-by-step strategy.
Yeah.
Maybe, or the process.
We need to have a process. We need to have a step-by-step. And that step-by-step that you are talking about is what we call the actual project management process. How do we create change? How do we, sustain change? Guys, a lot of things that happen in an organization happens by us basically going and delivering projects. We go and have a project, we create a team, we get the team to be able to work together, we get them to go and implement a particular, if you want, approach or process. And that's what we teach you, by the way, in project management subject and system analysis and project management that we deliver. And from there, what do? Is we basically manage to implement what we're supposed to go and implement by getting that project to go and be delivered to the right people in the organization. But that's only one aspect of things. Can you think about any other aspect that will help us to get the job done?
Creating, what about the external and internal, like the business knowing about the things like external or internal?
Yes, so basically managing all of these stakeholders, working with the stakeholders, understanding that. Absolutely, that's all correct. We need to kind of have the right people to be able to be working together within the organization. We need to train people. We need to have the right culture. So there's a lot of things we need to go and think about in terms of creating and sustaining change in an organization. And what I want you to go and think about is things happen through a project. A project is all of these activities. We are working together to be able to go and get various things to go and really be delivered. Delivering the capability that we would like to go and deliver needs to be delivered within a certain cost and a certain timeline. We say a project is successful if things are delivered within time, within cost, within specification. It requires, organizational changes, and it requires IS and IT changes. IS and IT, let's get the new technology. We need to implement the new technology. We need to get the right information that is basically delivered now, but also about people, organizational changes. What sort of processes we need to follow now because there's a new system. Who's going to be doing what sort of training we need to do, how are we going to go and support it. So there's a lot of things we need to go and bear in mind. We think about two main things. We're going to go from a project phase to the delivering of the outcome phase. And we're going to go, once you have the outcome available, we're going to go to the services phase, where the emphasis is on shoring, on embedding and sustaining the changes and the realization of expected benefits. In other words, I need to go and make sure that whatever outcome I delivered and people have started using, I need to make sure that we're going to sustain their ability to go and use it, so that we are able to go and really ensuring we're going to get the benefits for now, as well as for the long term, that we basically said that solution is going to go and help me to go and have. So you think about it this way. You have your business and S&IT strategy. You have all of these ways that you're going to go and manage things and priorities in terms of what we need to be working on at any point of time. So what happened from there is you're going to have to make business cases for the sort of things you would like to go and be working on. And so once you choose what are the best items to go and work on at any point of time, we basically get that decision. We start executing in terms of the project, delivering things, evaluating the work we're doing. And that's all about delivering all of this innovation within the organization. And once we deliver that innovation changes that we must continually try to go and deliver, that delivery needs to go in. Once I get a project, once I get an application, I need to deliver it and deploy it to the business. The business will then need to go and manage it to have a business as usual operation. They need to evaluate that it's continuing to go and deliver the right benefit for the business. And eventually it goes and start giving that elimination. So if this is no longer something that adds value within my organization, let me go and stop using an application that is not going to go and add value.
This one?
Yeah, well, it's a nice slide. So have a look at it and understand it. So mainly it's about how we start from the top. It incorporates everything. We start from the top in terms of our business and IT strategy, all the way down to implementing our projects, which is all the innovation in our business. And once we deliver outcomes, it's about being used in the organization. So it becomes a business as usual way of operation. We need to operate it and support it within the business. They link together. But at any time, whatever we're working on is based on the business case. There is a reason, there's a benefit why we're working on any particular outcome within the organization. We need to think about the strategic management of IS and IT services and IT infrastructure. Anybody knows what service level agreements means? What's the service level agreement? Anybody knows?
Agreement between governments or something?
Look, it could be agreements anyway. It could be in the team. It could be anything.
Oh, yeah.
Let me ask you a question. Okay. You work in an organization. You get a call at the same time from 3 people. You have the CEO calling you. You have the IT manager calling you. And you have the HR employee calling you. Which one would you answer?
CEO, most probably.
Why?
Because he is in the top, so I have to make the special agreement with him. And after that,
You need to think about that. That's really what the agreements really mean, because you are delivering different services to different users within the organization. Some services you will give them a higher priority. Some services you will give them a lower priority. For example, automatically some people go and create a rule on the system. When the CEO calls, his call will go top priority straight away. They're going to go and answer the phone calls. Okay. When someone logs a ticket and tells you, okay, if someone calls you and say, oh, the system is down, we can't accept any inventory in our store, or someone calls you and say, my printer is not working, which one would you treat as the highest priority?
System.
System. Why is the system?
Because the top priority goes for the company first.
Yeah, it's impacting everybody in the company. It's the systems are working. We can't do our job versus someone who can't use a printer. Yeah, that's fine. The printer, we can fix it. So maybe for the service level in the printer, you would say that's service level 3, which might say we will try to basically solve it between 8 hours and 24 hours. Okay. Someone where your system is down, you will say we endeavor to go and respond within 10 minutes and try to solve the problem within 2 hours. So you see the priority will change depending on what is basically we're trying to go and deliver and how important is an IT service at any particular point of time. We want to go and get a service. We need to ask ourselves, what is the utility of that service? In other words, how functional, how easy is it for people to be able to go and access and use that service? And there's no point to get a service just to get a service. You need to get a service that is going to go and be delivering value to the organization. So what is the value of that service? That's another thing we would like to go and really bear in mind in terms of the value we're trying to go and deliver. We need to understand services in the context of IS in IT. You know what I mean? The service is intangible. You can't touch it. The service cannot be placed in inventory. If people want a service, if people want to call you to get a problem with the printer, they want it now. Okay. It's usually produced and consumed at the same time. They call me and say, I have a problem, and I solve it. So it's not something that I can go and store. And if someone want to go and have it, they can in the future come and actually go and decide how they're going to repair their printer. They just need to kind of get the support that is available a lot of time for the service to go and be delivered. You have chief information officers, you have IT management. Their job is about really looking at all of these things, looking at the service level agreement, looking at what services we're going to deliver, how beneficial are they, looking and managing the whole context to be able to go and ensure we're getting the right outcomes within the organization. Let me ask you, can you think about the services that IS and IT provide to the organization? Can you think about any IS and IT services? Anything? Any of you have ever worked in IT? Or anybody have ever worked in an organization that they had to call IT to get help? Anyone work in Woolworths? Woolies or Coles?
Administration support.
Admin support? Okay, anyone have ever called IT?
No, sir.
No? Okay, you're saying administration support, yeah?
Yes, sir.
Okay, do you have a username?
Yes, sir.
Who gave you that?
I recently joined in Woolworth, but I haven't.
Well, who gave you that? Who gave you that password?
I got that from. Don't know. I just got a mail.
Who is it?
It's from the HR.
No, it's from IT.
I haven't like.
If you're talking a lot of time about the usernames and passwords, HR might create the contract for you. HR doesn't create the logins. If they even emailed you the logins, they probably have got them from IT, and they ask IT to basically forward it so that they can forward it to you.
But at the bottom of the mail, there's written like the name of the HR. That's why.
That's what I'm saying. So what I said, if HR is sending it to you, they probably would have asked IT to create that login so that they can forward it to you as an employee.
Yeah.
But there's a problem with your login. There's a problem with your password. There's a problem with whatever. This is usually the function of IT. Someone goes and say, my password to the network does not work. What is that? That's an IT service. Can you think of any other IT service?
I used to work before, like with the deputy. I used to use the deputy things for the organization for the login.
Yes. So what's that? So what's the service you're talking about?
It's a service like when you enter the work, we have to use the deputy and enter the login password and ID. And sometimes we can use our face and then we go to work, like start of the day.
Okay,
was-
fair enough. Any
Yeah.
other service?
Call is Outlook model.
What's that?
Our call is Outlook model.
Outlook? Email, you
Yes,
mean?
sir.
Yeah,
Yes,
okay.
sir.
That's an IT service. That's correct. What else?
Even the all the mails regarding our username and password for the student portal and the college portal and for the progress, all these are organized by the IT services.
Okay, let me ask you a question now. Anybody have mobile phone?
Yeah.
How are you connecting? Okay, you're connecting from a computer. How are you connecting?
With the Wi-Fi.
Where is that Wi-Fi? Where is it? What is that?
That's from the ISP, Internet Service Provider.
So what is that? How is that ISP working?
It's IT.
Through router.
They connected the cable like
Through the
anywhere-
router, through the connections, through the network.
Yeah.
Does every organization have a network?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can they operate without a network?
No.
Do every organization possibly have applications?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so you see what I'm talking about? There's so many IT services to go
Uh-huh.
and really think about, guys. We don't know that there are. We know that they're there, but we don't think about them as an IT service that the organization is actually been managing through its IT department. But all of these things
Depends
are
about the
existing. They're working. They're happening all the time. And that's how we're getting the outcomes to go and really be delivered. Okay, I'm having a message here saying, well, if something is wrong with our module, also we should contact to college IT. Good example. All our daily services are connected with IT. Thank you very much, Shayan. Correct. Everything, all the services are really connected through IT, through various services that are available. But if we think there are so many services, I'm not going to talk about all of them, but for example, there's an application service. We are using all of these applications. We're having an infrastructure, technology service. We're having even things that are, different, things that are related to people. Guys, if you go to an organization and there's something wrong with the organization, how do we improve it? If there's something wrong with our process, how do we improve it?
We try to contact the like if we are a customer, then we try to contact the customer service.
Okay, but if you work in an organization and there's a problem with your process, who helps you to fix it?
IT management,
They do. How do they help you?
figuring out what's happening there. Like
They analyze the process, they
Like,
find what's wrong with it, they make business analysis, they try to understand the customer's requirements, and from there, what do? They try to start proposing solution. And that's really part of the capstone's, work, and that you guys will need to go and be doing as part of this, course. You're going to go and try to find a solution and try to go and solve them. We need to assess the quality of our services. Is it of the good quality, technical quality? Yeah, probably. That's great. Technical quality is very important. But what about emotionally? Don't we want to give services that people are actually happy to use? Are we going to give them shit services, shit technology, or good quality? What about the gap in service delivery? That's something we need to think about. A lot of time you might be having a service and you're having underperformance. The service is not actually really delivering that particular outcome. We basically have all of that underperformance. We've talked about all of these dimensions of IS and IT. For example, in what form is that service available to us? What value is that service really providing? These are all things we need to go and think about when we talk about all of these IT and IT service categories that are available out there. I want you to think that there are so many various services available out there in IT, and these services will differ. They are differing based on the degree of customization of the services and the degree of user involvement of those services. For example, I might talk about places like a service factory, where you are having a high user involvement, but a low customization of that, a low user involvement and a low customization of that particular service. For example, Security services within the organization usually doesn't have a lot of involvement by the users. Networking is usually happening behind the scene. No one sees how we're doing the connection, we're adding things, we're adding cables. Everything is usually happening behind the scene. There's low user involvement and there's low customization. You want to connect, that's how we connected. We put it in that place. The place of the cable is usually specific. You can't change it. It's basically try to go and provide some very specific sort of service that is available in that perspective. You think about things like a service shop. Service shop is here we have high customization, but it's low user involvement. For example, if you want to go and get a software, you're going to buy it from outside. Okay, you might not involve the users a lot because you're going to go and not really work on it and delivering it yourself within the organization. But what you do, you're basically going to go and have high customization because you're going to tell the people what you want, and it is their job of people externally to be able to go and supply for you what you are actually requesting at that particular point of time. Service small, that's something like low customization and high user involvement. For example, you call the help desk and say, oh, I need help. And when you ask for help, they're not going to go and help you on any service you could think about. They'll have very, very specific services that they deliver. They have very specific services. So that's basically what they try to go and really help you deliver to you at that particular point of time. You go and talk about service boutiques. It's different. It's high customization and high user involvement. And that's where we're doing all of these development consultancy, business analysis, system analysis, process analysis. That's where there's a lot of involvement between both the users to be able to go and produce a solution that is really considered to go and be up. Now, ladies and gentlemen, there are so many various strategies we need to think about for managing IT infrastructure and their services. First of all, we need to go and define our IT infrastructure and what is its component. For example, let's think about the machine, the physical component, a hardware, a router, whatever they are, all of these physical items, the physical items. And what is the process for me to go and really use all of these various physical items that are available to be able to go and get a particular course to go and be delivered? Business basis for technology management. Why do we need it? Are we going to link technology to our need and make sure we're delivering our need at any particular point of time? Great. Technology strategies in multi-business unit organization. Because we have different units, we're going to have maybe intercompany training or trading of information. We're going to, have maybe aligned business changes, organizational changes. We're going to get maybe an aligned IT component and aligned processes. We basically talk about how we're going to work together with all of these multi-units and thinking about all of these IS and IT supply side factors. Why are we doing it? Well, because it's going to help us to go and get things done cheaper, because it's going to help us to be able to go and get all of those people available to get the service that we would like to go and deliver happening at any particular point of time. Guys, can you think of any risks that could threaten IS and IT in an organization? What could threaten our information system and IT in an organization? What threats?
Hacking, sir.
Hacking. Okay, guys, can you just do me a favor? Just make a quick search, and I'm not encouraging anybody, but just want to basically search for a particular topic. Okay.
Like a risk assessment, risk mitigation.
Now I've just sent you a message now. Just search for that topic. I'll give you a few minutes. Read about it and tell me why is this a big issue. So I'll give you a couple of minutes. Look at this particular concept. That I just sent you the topic now in the chat box. Please copy that topic and try to tell me why is this a very, very big issue. All right, go on. So what happened?
So it's mainly leaking of the company data and user details and all.
So they lead the company data.
Yes.
What sort of data?
It's
personal data.
Personal data. Okay.
Yeah.
This, okay, are we talking about very famous people here?
That's the medicine.
Okay,
Yeah.
this website, Ashley in Medicine, I don't condone, I don't actually support what they do. They're basically talking about, they're talking about this, basically cheating on your spouses. And it's really more about, people who are wealthy to go and cheat on their spouses. So basically offering very expensive services that allows people to go and cheat on their partners, basically. And all of this information ended up where? Where did that information end up?
Public.
Public on the internet. I have this very, very famous person, and his wife goes and see that he was cheating on her with someone on the internet. Like, what impact do you reckon that's gonna have?
Yeah,
Big,
they are
big
gonna
impact, yeah.
be in very big trouble.
What about thinking about all of these, lawsuits that will come against this company? How big is that of a problem? Can you think about any other risks?
I think like I just read a news in Forbes, and then it says like many suicide attempts were like happened during because of that.
Which one?
Many people try to commit the suicide because of that.
Because of that
data
issue.
breach. Yeah,
Wow. And that's only one data breach.
yeah,
Billions of dollars could be lost. What about all of these companies that try to hack a network and saying, if you're not going to pay us by Bitcoin, we're not going to go and give you your password again? That happens all the time, doesn't it?
yeah.
Okay. So you see, IT risk is not a small issue, guys. It's a big issue. You think about so many various risks, general threats, hardware might stop failing. People might come and hack your system. Your computers might not be secure. Your data might go and end up on the internet. Your purchases, whatever you're going and doing, might end up for anybody to be able to go and really look at that information. So what do we need to do? We need to have a particular way of really looking at risks. Let's do it because there are legal requirements in terms of how we need to manage our risk. Let's have a process, risk assessment, risk mitigation, risk response. Let's have policies and procedures for all of our risk management. Let's evaluate and assess how we are really working on delivering things within the organization to ensure that our risks within the organization in terms of IS and IT are being managed. The last thing we need is our information ending up with the wrong people. It's going to go and cost us millions of dollars at any particular point of time. We need to go and source IS and IT resources and services. And we need to think about, all of these classification of all of these sourcing options. For example, some sourcing options, relate to the business impact that, a company might be trying to go and achieve. We talk about all of these financial and economic returns that we need to go and really think about, decision guidelines. How do we go and ensure that something is going to go and give me the financial and economic output that I would like to go and get at any given point of time? We need to think about all of these risks associated with, outsourcing. You might go and say, oh, I'm going to go and get another company to go and deliver my service at that point of time. But how do you know that outsourcing to another company is the right option? How do you know you're not going to go and really lose money? It's all about all of these hidden costs that we don't tend to go and think about in details when we're trying to go and really work on the right management of all of these outsourcing decisions, or sourcing whatever services we need at any point of time in the organization. We do a lot of time what we call business process outsourcing. Does anybody know what business process outsourcing is? What is business process outsourcing? It's really about managing a lot of these business processes that are not considered core to my business. Thinking about things like HR, things like accounting. I might say I could get someone else to be able to go and manage that side of the business for me, rather than me having to go and worry about that particular process myself. So we outsource the whole process, HR, payroll, accounting, and so on. recruitment and so on. What will happen? And you know, some of the patterns of the things we try to go and really a business process outsource, you know, we outsource it because it's complex. It's basically making a lot of complexity for my organization that is not really worth the effort that we're trying to go and employ at any point of time. We business process outsource those you know, services that are independent, that in other words, they could be changed without affecting any other processes within the organization. We talk about processes that are of strategic importance. In other words, processes that you know, afford the organization a competitive advantage. It can get a very great advantage that they won't actually go and get otherwise if they are actually delivering all of the services within their own organization. Guys, do you think when I go and tell a company, I want you to go and deliver my let's say my support services or my email services, I want you to go and support it. I want you to go and be Microsoft and you support my email accounts. Okay. Do you think innovation is important in this particular context? Is innovation important when I'm outsourcing my services to another company? When I say you do my job, is innovation important for them?
I think innovation is always important, no?
It's always important. Why do you believe it's important, Shikhar?
For the new ideas, for the, you know, like creating the ideas with the new companies, sorting out how we're going to build up the strategy for the
Okay.
plan.
Anyone else have a different point of view or same point of view?
I don't think innovation is important in this case.
Why?
Because they can simply do the same thing over and over again to the different. They have the same blueprint, so they can utilize that leverage.
Okay. Let me tell you one thing, my friend. In this IT field, the only constant is change. So the only thing that keeps on happening is really change. Now, what I want you to go and bear in mind is the fact that because change keeps on occurring, if I go and get someone to go and deliver my service, whatever that service on IT is, if that service is not going to go and keep on being innovated and improved, what will happen is you as a company might go and find someone else out there who might be delivering the same service or even a better service at a cheaper cost than what you are actually paying at any particular point of time. So in that particular example, you would basically say, if I don't go and change accordingly myself, it is going to go and really be an issue from my point of view. So I need to go and start incorporating and implementing some changes to be able to go and get better outcomes to go and be delivered. If we go and say we're going to continue doing the same thing over and over again, we could basically end up as an outsourced as a company providing outsourcing services, we might end up basically not providing the leading services that clients might actually want at any particular point of time. So I want you to bear in mind that when you outsource your services, there's often an expectation that the provider will bring innovation, and not simply that, they will continue innovating and bringing a better service so that we are always going to ensuring we are using the best outcome and maximum productivity within the organization at any point of time. We need to bear in mind that a lot of times we might go and try to go and switch suppliers. And that's the point that I'm telling you. Why? There might be other reasons. You know, we might try to renew the contract with the same people, or we might try to go and bring, change the suppliers altogether, or we might even try to bring some of the services back inside the organization. Say, we don't want to outsource this service anymore. We want to bring it back to the organization. And the reason why we will bring a service that is outsourced, we bring it back inside the organization, is because there are often problems that arise during the contract. You know, there might be a failure to get the objective being delivered, where there might be a desire to go under IT regaining control of how things are happening. They might be changing in the business environment or economic environment and the business strategies, what they're trying to do. There might be a technological change that outsourcing company might not have. There might be a management change. We believe we might need to go and do more work within the organization than otherwise go and outsource work outside the organization. Now, we will be talking much more further about this topic as we move to our webinar this week. But for now, do you have any question about what I covered in terms of the lectorial?
No, sir.
Thank you, Shikhar. Okay, no worries, guys. Do we have any question about the assessment? I actually have a request regarding the assessment. I am trying to go and get one member to a group that could basically benefit from having an extra member with them. Is there any member who could basically accept an extra member and add them to your group to be able to go and work with you?
Yes, so you can add on my group.
Okay, let me check. So for the presentation, you need to be making sure that you are really preparing for it in details. You're basically gonna, because you're gonna be in different location, you're gonna basically practice it and see who's gonna be moving the slide every time. Maybe make a sign, guys. Agree on a sign that someone will have to move to the next slide. Do it where it's smooth. Instead of someone saying, oh, move the slide, move the slide, move the slide, make it in an efficient manner, and bear in mind the requirements that I've stipulated in the briefing document and in the video that I've recorded, so that you guys will be able to go and do well in that presentation.
So we don't need to upload the presentation one document in the.
Yes, you do. There is a link for it. You upload it there.
Okay.
Okay, and it needs to be by the due date so that we can have all the stuff ready, so that when we're going to go and start doing the actual work that we need to do.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. See you on Thursday.
No worries. Any other questions, guys?
Excuse me, sir.
Tell me, my friend.
Like my other members are not responding, so only the two of us have started our assignment. Is that okay?
Okay. Guys, thank you very much for all your questions relating to the assignment and then the other stuff. I just want to remind you that, read chapter 11 and continue working on your group assignment, which is due this week. So make sure you submit. And I just want to thank you all again for all your hard work and dedication. Continue working hard. We are now almost to the end, and we look forward to basically seeing your result and trying to go and hopefully help you to go and achieve good outcomes. Just want to say again, thank you for all your hard work. I look forward to seeing you again in the webinar and to help you get the best outcomes. All the best, guys. See you later.
Thank you, sir.
All the best.
Bye.
Bye.
Good night.
Thank you, sir.